It was a normal day in Appaloosa. Troubleshoes was getting ready before a next rodeo show as a rodeo clown. Ever since he became the rodeo clown, he'd made a lot of new friends in town. Despite about his past, though, that every pony in town saw him as an outcast, a very dangerous pony to be around because there was always some accidents around him. But ever since the Cutemar Crusaders told him that they may have found his true purpose to be a rodeo clown. Ever since he did show up on an unannounced during a rodeo show as a clown, all the audience loved this performance, and the others in town realized their mistake by calling him as an outcast. They regretted their old bad mistakes. And eventually it took time for him to get used to be as a rodeo clown, but also being accepted in town by many friends. But even despite that, he loved his performance, and he actually had a good time. And even though he became very close to another pony in town, Brayburn. Even despite Brayburn was among the ponies that really much avoid, at least would avoid troubleshoots as much as possible. But now he actually enjoyed spending time with him. And this day, he actually walked into in this small room where Troubleshoot was getting ready. Are you ready for the performance? You know it, said Troubleshoot with a smile. This is gonna be a fun day. Let's assure it. During that show, though, every pony in the audience laughed about his performance. But as he looked around during his performance, he spotted one pony in the audience that he's never seen before. A mare. A mare is in a light blue coat and yellow mane. He was like surprised to see her, but he focused on the show and even continued. But after the show was over, he actually walked up to Brayburn and asked if he knew who that mare could have been, since he had never seen her before in town, and as he was about to show her, she was gone. But then Brayburn asked, "Can you describe her? How she looks like?" And he did. Hmm. Doesn't even ring a bell who this particular pony can be. It doesn't even this description doesn't even match any pony in town. It's possible that she may just be a visitor. Who knows? But anyways, are you going to this restaurant there in town afterwards? Getting something to eat? Yeah, I'm up for it. After all, I'm getting hungry. This performance made me a lot of hungry. So after that, they went to this restaurant nearby to get something to eat. They were just small talking while eating, but it was something that even despite that Troubleshoes had a lot of new friends and a good job, but there was one thing that he missed the most. Some special some pony. Despite that he had actually been on a few days with a couple of mares in town, but it didn't work much as out though. They only lasted for at most like 5 days. He didn't feel any sort of connection to any of them. But he actually just wished that one day he could find his true love one day though. But as they were just sitting there eating and talking, Troubleshoes didn't notice. Same mare who was at the show just walked in and walked past them and set a table on the other side of the room. Hey, that's her. Ooh, the mare I told you about before. Where? There. And Brayburn just looked. Huh. Yeah, but despite I said before, I never seen it before. That she might just be a visitor, said Brayburn. May so. Why did you just walk up to her and talk to her? Talk to her? About what? Well, her name, but she likes town, something like that. I don't know. After all, after this, I'm actually going home, and you're getting tired. It's been a long day. Are you sure, Troubleshoes? Brayburn said with a smile. Yes, I am tired. And it's over and the time of the war, the clock was actually 8 p.m. So he was right, it was getting late. But the next day, Troubleshoes didn't have any performance to do. So he just walked around the town, say hey, so this was good greetings of my friends, and walked to Brayburn's home, and they played cards for about 3 hours at most. But after that, he decided to go somewhere to go to the same restaurant to have something to eat. And after all, it was around lunchtime. And when he walked in, there were only a few other ponies there, but he noticed and spotted the same mare sat at the same table at the same far end of the room. After he made his order, he walked up to her and asked if he could sit down. She just nodded. So Troubleshoes want to break the ice of this silence. So, are you new in town or just visiting? Just visiting. Oh, so where you're from? Cloudsdale. It turns out this mayor didn't want to speak, it wanted to talk much. Ah, I ain't never been there. Is it a nice town? Yeah, it can be, if you like it, in the clouds. So, are you doing any particular reason you're visiting Appaloosa? I mean, middle of nowhere. Nah, I just been here for just visit, passing by, that's all. So, what's your name? My name is Troubleshoes. Lightning Dust. Lightning Dust, he said quietly. He actually somehow recognized the name, but he couldn't put it the name exactly. So, what are you doing for living? I mean, I am the rodeo clown here in Appaloosa. Right now, nothing. Nothing? No, just doing some odd jobs here and there, just to earn some money. To just keep moving on. Oh, so what have you been doing so far? Otherwise, as a job. Uh, Male pony. Before that, I was Wonderbolt Reserve, but until I was kicked out of it. Oh, what happened? I prefer not want to talk about it. Understandable. I want not to ask more about that. Or what about anything else? Well, I was one of the watchouts for some time before we disbanded the team. The watchouts? Yeah, if you're... Wait, are you one of those watchouts performers? Wait, you know about it? Yeah, actually, I did see a performance show back in Manhattan about a couple months ago. But where are the rest of the team? Well, like I said, we disbanded. Why? I mean, I know that your performance were quite dangerous and a little bit of entertainment, but I admit to that. But why? Well, let's say that the whole team disbanded after an incident in Polville. What happened there? He asked. Long story short, I was trying to convince us a filly to perform a dangerous stunt without any protection, net safety, anything like that, and some of her older friends, a mayor, said that it was too dangerous and tried to convince her not to do it, and she managed to do so, and after that, the whole team itself disbanded, and I hadn't seen those since that happened. Wow, that's terrible. Yeah, but what can you do? I mean, if they didn't want to talk to me anymore, and I mean, I understand that after that happened, can you even blame them? Yeah, I guess not. And then these just continue small talk and having something to eat. So, why are you doing any odd jobs here in Appaloosa? No, just passing by for a couple of days and moving on. Oh, I mean, if you were having want to have any some extra payment, maybe how about doing some performance at the rodeo club as a rodeo show? The rodeo show. I doubt they would even accept me as one to help one of those extra helpers. She said, a smirk. Why would you say that? He asked. I mean, come on. Do you really expect me they would allow me to be part of that any of that performers after they probably heard about my bad past? That is not an excuse. Oh, as you start talking about like my experience. In fact, yes, I have. Oh, you tell. I used to be an outcast here in Ponyville, and here in Appaloosa. You, an outcast? I doubt it. No, it is true. But when I came here, every pony hated me. They called me an outcast. I was too dangerous. I was a dangerous pony to even be around. They didn't want to be as no pony here. They wanted to even talk to me. But after three young mares, Phyllis, Cutemar Crusaders, helped me to realize my true potential as a rodeo clown. After the match sneaked me into during a performance, I made the whole audience laugh. After that, I made a lot of friends here, and I actually earned a lot of profit to be as a rodeo clown. Wait, Cutemar Crusaders? Would that involve with a villain by the name Scootaloo, by the chance? Yes, that's one of them. Why? That is the mare, the filly that I told you about. Her? You wanted to put her in dangerous stunt? He said shockingly. Yes, I know that might sound terrible. I know it is, but you know, everyone here, every pony is always willing to be given a second chance. But if you want, I could talk to the arranger and his assistant to see if they won't be willing to give you a second chance here. You can do that, but I doubt they'll even do it. How about this? You follow me, and I will wait outside and wait outside his office. I will talk to him. Fair enough. So after the lunch, they went to the office. And Troubleshoes at first had a little bit to explain who Lightning Dust is and about some of her past, and they already knew about it. But since they said, well, I don't want to give her a proper job here, but then he made his card. Well, think about it. I was very much an outcast. No pony here didn't want to have me even near them. And after what I made show up in that performance by accident, see what happened. You all gave me a second chance, and see what happened. And after the assistant and the manager, or this arranger, had a short conversation and said, alright, let's show this one try. If that works, she is hired. Thanks. So, how did it go? Well, you're hired. What? That easy? Well, you have to do at least one performance to see if you can be hired. Just one? Yep. Alright. When? Tomorrow. Tomorrow? Okay. So, but the next day, they actually went to the same place, the performance. And sure enough, they actually had a good show. And even though that she were a rodeo clown, and the audience actually laughed so much. They laughed so much they couldn't even barely breathe. Even some of the audience actually fell on the ground, laughing. They couldn't even breathe much. And afterwards, when the whole performance was over, the arranger actually walked up to Lightning Dust and said, huh, I didn't expect that performance to be that popular this time. But, you're hired. Are you for real? She said, shocked. I'm positively, definitely not joking. And, I would assume it would be okay if you were Troubleshoot's assistant in this case. She looked at him and he nodded, and she did the same. Good. After that, they actually made some more performance in the show. But even though that Lightning Dust wished she can do some more. And one day during just an afternoon, that when they had no performance to do, Lightning Dust managed to convince Troubleshoes that if she can show him some performance that she could do for the place for a rodeo show, He agreed to see some of the ideas she had in mind. But as she was doing some loopy loops in the air, and she made a quick turn, but as she was doing it, she didn't realize that she was flying straight to a cactus. And she managed to just like fly to the side to avoid the cactus, but then bang! Right to the ground. And she was like, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. Just I didn't expect the cactus to be there." Even though that she hurt her her back legs and one of her wings, and Troubleshoot decided to take her to the clinic in town to see a doctor, just in the case to see how severe the injuries were. And luckily they weren't that severe. She only had a sprained ankle and a sprained wing, but the doctor told her to at least avoid any dangerous performance. And even though after that, she decided to spend the time in her hotel room for a couple of days, but a couple of days later, she didn't show up at the performance. Even though when Brayburn went into Troubleshoot's dressing room, "Have you seen the Lightning Dust?" "No, I haven't." "Where is she?" I I haven't seen her. Have you?" "No. I haven't seen her in a couple of days, so I assuming maybe that she has moved on, maybe left town after she has got healed." "That's a shame. I mean, she made a lot of performance that looked a lot more funnier, especially for a rodeo clown." "Yeah, agreed. There was something special about her, though." "Oh, did you like her?" Uh, yeah, I admit I did like her. She is amazing, despite her bad past and all, but she is the one special one. I wish I could just hold her that. Maybe one day you may have the chance to do so. Who knows? Well, I get ready to go to the performance. But during the performance, suddenly, a big or some sort of sound. Everybody probably looked around, even including the audience and the arranger and assistant. Even Troubleshoot looked around. And he was like, "What the? What was that sound?" Everyone looked around, but suddenly, Troubleshoot saw a pony of Pegasi flying towards the place, and suddenly the pony was spinning and fly up and land right next to him. "Lightning Dust? What are you doing here? I thought you left town." "Me? Leaving town when doing this great performance? No way. I'm sticking around to see you how this going out." And she did. The performance actually went more perfectly as more expected. But over time, after all that, she was actually permanently hired, since she decided to remain Appaloosa. After all, being a rodeo clown apparently made her really happy, seeing how the audience paused and were laughing about her performance along with Troubleshoes. Why would she just throw that idea's opportunity away? Rather being a Wonderbolt reserve, but being a rodeo clown was probably not one of those jobs she had even imagined that she would be. But she enjoyed it. She actually had so much fun, especially with Troubleshoes. But after about 4 months, Troubleshoes actually asked her out, and she said yes. But a couple of weeks later, something did happen. Troubleshoes actually had invited Sweetiebelle, Scoolaloo, Applebloom, and even their friends to Ponyville, from Ponyville to Appaloosa. When Lightning does find out, "Are you crazy? You invited them without asking me." "Why?" she asked. "I just wanted to maybe that you could move on and try to be friends with them. To try to ask them for forgiveness. I'm sure they will." "Are you sure they even want to do that?" "Trust me. If ponies here in Appaloosa could forgive me, give me a second chance. and I give you. So try at least. All right, fine, I will. And she did, and it actually did work because they had only been a few months after the incident in Ponyville, though. But even at first, Rainbow Dash at first didn't want to accept that she had improved herself, but she did. And eventually, she actually became a very close friend to Lightning Dust. In fact, Lightning Dust often invites Rainbow and Scootaloo to Appaloosa to be her personal guest at the rodeo shows and like that. And she actually enjoyed it. But then, after that, that Lightning Dust and Troubleshoes have been engaged, been dating for about a year. Troubleshoes thought maybe it was time to take the next step. He even invited her. He actually even proposed to her during a rodeo performance. She started crying, but she said yes. They decided to have a small wedding in Appaloosa. They actually had decided to invite Rainbow as Lightning Dust's bridesmaid and Brayburn as Troubleshoe's best man. They actually had a good time. Even afterwards at a party which Pinky had arranged, actually, it was a great, great ceremony. It was a great party. Every pony, all the close friends, close family who was invited enjoyed this wedding. They even went to Manhattan as for a honeymoon for about a week. There they had a great time, enjoying the food, the romantic dinners, and some they perform some plays at the student theaters, and some just having a great time. But just 2 years later, during a performance as a rodeo show, Lightning Dust announced that she will not be as much taking part of the show for a couple of months afterwards because it turned out that she and Troubleshoes are expecting a baby within the next few months. And a few months later, they had their baby daughter. They named their daughter Seafoam. Seafoam was actually quite excited to have two parents as the local rodeo clowns. She even grew up watching their performance as the rodeo clowns. Even though that she had another dream of herself, because she actually became the goddaughter to her mom's new old friend Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash actually had been asked to be Seafoam's godmother, and she actually enjoyed that. And Rainbow had told her all stories about her time as a Wonderbolt, and that had actually sparked interest that she also wanted to be a Wonderbolt. Because when she mentioned this idea to her parents, she was expecting that maybe they want to have to follow their footprints to be and also a rodeo clown. But they both said, no, if you want to be a Wonderbolt, you should follow your dream, no matter what any pony says, her mom said. Because her mom had mentioned that she used to be a Wonderbolt reserve after an incident, and she had explained what that incident meant. Even though Seafoam herself were not much any didn't like that much, but she accepted her mom's mistake and learned from it. And what not only, Seafoam herself was a fast flyer, so her mom practiced her with the fast flying techniques as growing up. When she was about 18, she applied to the Wonderbolt Academy as one of those reserves. She was the first not accepting quite as fast, but she had to do some trials to see if she was what has required to be one as a Wonderbolt reserves. But she was expecting a letter back in a couple of weeks, unsure if she was accepted or not. But as she was waiting for this letter, she was nervous all along. But her parents assured her that she will be accepted in. And after about 3 weeks of waiting, she got a letter from the academy, and sure enough, she was accepted in as one of those new Wonderbolt reserves. She made it in, and she was happy. Even though she had just been accepted in, she realized she hasn't even been fulfilled her childhood dream, as far as yet though. But even though that Spitfire was still as the captain of the Wonderbolts, always gave her a hard time. But her mom always told her, despite how much hard times she gets, she will pull it through. And she will, if she just hold out, she will be an official Wonderbolt reserve. And maybe one day she could even be a Wonderbolt herself. So Seafoam kept her training, practice with her godmother's Rainbow spare time and doing a performance herself. And after about a year, when she was 19, she had become a full Wonderbolt reserve. She was excited. She had at least one step closer in her dream to be a Wonderbolt. But she knew that being a Wonderbolt could happen within the next couple of years or so. But she also knew that she may never even be a Wonderbolt as an official member of the Wonderbolts. She knew that that was probably what could never happen, but she would never give up. And just barely 3 years later, she actually had become a full member of the Wonderbolts. She was excited, overjoyed in that. When she told her parents, they were both overjoyed, especially her mother. She could have been happier than that. And after that, she had been a full member as a Wonderbolt for about 3 years. She actually ran into a stallion from Manhattan. They started dating. At first, it was a long distance, but eventually they got married, and they have 2 daughters and 1 son together. And they actually loved each other so much, though. The love between Troubleshoes and Lightning Dust are unbreakable. Even at first, Lightning Dust didn't even believe that she would even find a true love, or that she would even give it a second chance in anything. Since she had been kicked out of Wonderbolts many years ago, and that she was one part of the Watchouts, she had no idea about her life. But ever since she met Troubleshoes, he encouraged her to try to be as a rodeo clown, even though that was probably not one of the things that she ever expected to even to try. But to see how the reactions of the audience when she was playing as a rodeo clown was a payoff well enough. Even though as a rodeo clown was a well-paid job, but she loved it. Seeing how much the audience loved her funny performance along with Troubleshoes, it was all worth it in the end. Even though that she didn't probably expecting to be staying in Appaloosa, because she had originally planned to just move on and find some other places to do some other odd jobs and continued. But if she had done that, she would never have fallen in love with Troubleshoes, and not had even found her true purpose in Troubleshoes. If that Lightning Dust had even stayed in Appaloosa, and if she didn't even have to even take it on the trial to be as a rodeo clown, he would not even have found his true love. And if he had even noticed her in the first performance when he saw her, or even at the restaurant, or even those 2 times, if he had even spotted her, he may not even found his true love at all. That is something he really much never wished could have happened. He was happy that he did meet his true love. And this is how Troubleshoes and Lightning Dust found a true love got a family together. The end.